Hey everyone, so I'm an expat who's been living in Seoul for a while and working as a teacher. So today I'm going to share one of the worst experiences I had as a teacher that I think a lot of people actually still go through to this day. Okay, so this is the story of an open class. So an open class can happen when a teacher's been teaching the kids for a long time and the parents just want to observe what their kids have been learning the last 6 months or 3 months or whatever. This is at a kindergarten, by the way. This is what happens at kindergartens. It doesn't happen at elementary school. It's a totally different ball game. But yeah, so I was about to start with a new class, and this was in my first year of teaching straight out of college. So I was pretty young back then too. So I had this open class and I was supposed to get some like lessons ready to teach the kids, but I I was supposed to like the advice I was given for this was like not great. Like I was supposed to teach the kids some songs, and then like the kids did not want to sing in front of their parents. They did not want to dance in front of their parents. Like they already have a tense relationship by the age of 6 or 7 in Korea. I think a lot of them had like really strict parents as well, so they didn't feel comfortable. It's crazy to me that like a really little kid doesn't feel comfortable singing and dancing in front of their parents. Like they might be ridiculed or something. I mean, that really like wounds me, but yeah, so the kids, and also I am a stranger and I'm speaking English, right? But yeah, I was supposed to come up with like two crafts or two lessons. And when I was trying to come up with these things to do, I wasn't really given any advice, and this wasn't covered like in our training either, what we should do, because we can't teach them anything out of the book. I remember like just standing there with the other teacher and just like making a fool of myself, trying to teach the kids whatever song it was. And the kids just stood there like this. And then I did find some old crafts. I remember there was a craft that was fine. The kids just put stickers on something. I wanted to do like an actual lesson, but I'm not gonna like dwell on it. But anyway, yeah, so then they did a craft, and a lot of the boys didn't like the craft, but it's like also I had to come up with a craft when the school had like limited supplies. So that was like really stressful, and it didn't make any sense because we don't do like any crafts. We didn't do that many crafts in the kindergarten. Yeah. And then like we had like limited amount of craft you're allowed to do with the kids because they have to be learning and writing all the time. But anyway, then they had me, I don't remember, I think it was like after this like open class, but I can't remember if the parents were in the room for the class or not. I can't remember. It was a long time ago. And then they had all the parents and all the moms sitting on chairs in the gym, and they had me and my co-teacher come up and stand up there. And I think my co-teacher was actually maybe even younger than me, but they had some, I don't know. So we had to come up and just be like, and of course I couldn't speak Korean, so I just stood there. And I was wearing a mask as well because, it was COVID time. But I got all these stereotypes just thrown at me by the moms. They're complaining basically while I'm standing there. And the principal's there as well talking to the parents. Like, these are the teachers, here are their names. And yeah, so he said something about our clothing, like they'll be dressed better, like for class or something, which was like really odd. I didn't think either one of us was dressed really bad. So, and it was winter, so like there was like sweaters and I was wearing a skirt, but my tights had ripped. So it was cold. I remember that. It was not a good day. But anyway, then the parents were like raising their hands and they were saying like, I look young. Did I have any experience? Yeah, like blah 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 blah. But it wasn't this very like, oh yeah, like this girl's just standing in front of us and like let's just stand and like, or let's just sit here and berate this person in a language they can't understand. And we hired them to be a native teacher, so we're gonna berate them knowing that they can understand the language. And if they really, it should have just been like hi bye situation. It shouldn't have really been like a We're gonna stand there and they're gonna complain about everything. How old I possibly could be. Do I even have credentials? Like, to get through immigration, I have to prove that I have credentials to be the ESL teachers, to fit the ESL teaching position. So, to even work at the school, to get through immigration. So they really didn't need to ask that. And he just answered the questions and like very much catered to the parents. I don't know Korean, but I feel like he catered more to the parents. And if somebody was asking me the question, I would have been like, of course she's old enough to teach the kids. You know, because the questions were like, is she even old enough to teach? Does she even have any like experience? And then the experience I had was in a different city teaching kindergarten as well. And it was just very like, it felt very embarrassing to just be put in this like awkward situation where I was given like bad advice for the open class. And at this school in this location, they didn't know any English, so the kids were just like, when they wanted water, I had to watch the kids play in the playroom at some point, and when the kids wanted water, they would actually say like "물," like they would use Korean words for water, like words as simple as water. And I didn't know what they were talking about, and it was like the parents were standing there and seeing that I couldn't communicate with the kids, and it was just a very like, I think they were super skeptical, and everybody was so skeptical that I could do a good job because of the way I look, because there was no other reason. I mean, they couldn't understand my English, so it's not like they could be a good judge of my English. The native teachers are not really supposed to speak Korean or even know Korean. That's not like in our job description. And we're supposed to act like foreigners, like complete tourist foreigner anyway. Like even whatever Korean we know, we're not really supposed to like let on that we know it. I just felt like I had no dignity at this point, and I was brand new to working outside of college, like after graduation. So I didn't have any standards for like how this kind of thing should go. But yeah, this was really awful. Like I remember like the parents just sitting there looking at me like this, and then like I'm just there like, you know. And of course, right out of the gate, I think they felt more comfortable because I'm young and I'm female, and that made them feel like more comfortable to just behave in such a manner. Imagine like seeing your child's kindergarten teacher or preschool basically teacher, and just being like, are they qualified? Where are they from? Like blah blah blah. Like when it's all been approved already. I don't know. To me, it was crazy. It was rude, because if I could understand it, like that would be a rude thing to say to somebody. Also, they're paying for the school. They're not paying for me as the teacher specifically, and they don't really get to choose, if I'm being honest. So like that was that. But yeah, they completely misunderstood their place in the situation. The school vets, they don't get to vet me individually, you know? So it was really just inappropriate and uncomfortable. The principal never should have had us walk in like that or put us in that position. So while the parents are at blame for being rude, the principal is the one who set up the situation that way, and I blame him to this day for that situation. That was really horrible. If something like this happens to you, and it's hard to tell while it's happening, if you realize afterward and you feel horrible, it's so embarrassing. Like you feel bad about yourself and you feel horrible for a while after something like this happens. That would be a sign not to stay at that place or to keep your guard up, because that place might not be a good place. Yeah, I feel like other people have open classes, and I've never heard of anybody just being able to stand in front of the parents and have like be berated kind of by the parents and questioned and all of that. Questioned about your physical appearance and all of that. Yeah. That's the only open class I ever had to prepare. And it was the worst. Yeah. Also, you should know that open classes in Korea are completely fake. So they plan the kids' questions, they practice the lesson, they do the whole lesson, and then they bring in like new paper and they do the lesson that day, so that the parents can feel like the kids are doing a good job. It's completely fake. And also it's just bad because then the parents might think that their kids behave or understand things better than they do, and the parents are very confused a year later when their kid doesn't know anything. Yeah, like I have a student whose parents are like, my kid's behind the rest of the class, but this kid has like no attention span. He doesn't try, and there's no way to like force the kid to try to learn. And I can't relate, and I don't know how to push them to learn because I had my own personal motivation as a kid. But yep, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Bye.